Welcome to Kinky Introverts BDSM at Home with your host, Brian and Kitten.
Hey everybody. So after we got done with our urethral sounding episode, I went back and I talked to Beyond Bottom because I had some follow-up questions and I wanted to make sure that I shared them with you. So I asked 3 questions and I'll go ahead and list them up front and then I'll go ahead and read through the responses. The question I said, is there a method for reaching a prostate orgasm? And then my second question I stated that Brown Eyes went and peed after we got done playing. And I asked, that's a good practice, right? And then thirdly, I asked, is it possible for the entire sound to slip in and get stuck? And I said that because his body seemed to push it out as we played, and it was hard to like play with him and hold the sound in place as well, but leave enough out so that it didn't have to worry about it slipping in. And I was wondering, was there a way for us to have a little bit more fun, but at the same time keep him safe? So I asked, his body seemed to push it out most of the time, but is pushing it all the way in and putting my finger over the tip of his dick okay? And I said I didn't do it, but I was just wondering, is that an okay thing or is that a never ever do that thing? So should I leave out enough that I can always grab onto it? Beyond Bottom responded saying, all very good questions. Peeing afterwards is probably one of the most important parts. Any lube left in the urethra after will get flushed out and microabrasions will start healing with the urine contact. And then he asked if he had any discomfort afterwards. And so Brown Eyes said he had a little bit of discomfort when he peed, like a little bit of a burning sort of sensation. The next day he said he barely had, any sensations at all, any troublesome sensations. And so far it's been a day and a half, 2 days, and he said he's doing perfectly fine, nothing to report. And then Beyond Bottom he said, as for reaching prostate orgasm, you may need a longer sound than the Heger. I personally like rosebuds best for that because they are the longest and you can really get as much of the vibration to the prostate as possible because the shaft has the least amount of contact till the tip. You can actually feel the tip of the sound when it's all the way in. It will be in the taint area. You can move the sound in and out with one hand and feel the tip with the other. So the Hegar, they're just like one round piece, all pretty much the same width, except for the fact that the ones we had, they were 2 different sizes on the ends. And so, one end was like at a 5 millimeter, the other end was at a 6 millimeter. And that rise in size kind of happens in the middle of the sound. So it was all pretty much like the higher you go up, it's thick all the way throughout. So there's not much variation. But when you look at the rosebuds, it's like it reminds me of corn dog, I would say. So you have the stick and then the corn dog at the end. The rosebud's more like that. So if you think of that stick, except it's like a scrawny little piece, and then the rosebud part at the end is the bigger, thicker, like bullet almost. I can see what he's saying about that. And so I'd be super interested in getting that. We'll make that purchase soon, I'm sure. And then we'll go ahead and try for that prostate orgasm one more time, because we did not achieve it this time, and I would love for that to happen. And then as far as pushing the sound all the way in, Beyond Bottom said, once the sound bottoms out, meaning it drops on its own, I would be hesitant to put much more force behind it. The urethra is sort of a self-guiding, and gravity is your friend here. Any force can do damage, but like always, listen to your partner. He will tell you if something doesn't feel right. He goes on to say, my concern about pushing the sound in all the way and holding your finger over the end is really just and not being able to retrieve it at a moment's notice. It's not something you want to be fishing around for, trying to manipulate the penis to get it back out should it not peak right out again. I did a sounding scene with someone tonight. First time I've ever actually handled the sound inside my own body even. Gravity takes care of 90% of the work of it going in. I can't imagine pushing it in due to the risks. So it's a tempting thing to, or it was a tempting thing to do because I'm trying to do all these different things with my hands, and I want to pleasure Brown Eyes as well as hold this sound in place. And I see, it would have been super easy if I could just hold it in place, stroke his, do whatever I do, but at the same time, safety first. And that's my favorite piece of him, so I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So this was a little bit of Beyond Bottoms discussion with me on these topics, and I just wanted again to make sure that I shared them with you. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I hope that this information is good for you as well. Bye.
I love you.
I love you, monster.